Matthew Schaefer, one of those guys at a young age, seems like somebody who's going to be easy to root for, and well, looks like he's one of the future stars in the National Hockey League. Hey everybody, welcome into a new edition of Nonsense on Ice, presented by Upper Deck. On the road once again, coming to you from a hotel here in Nashville. The Panthers and the Predators coming your way at the time of this recording tomorrow night. So today we're doing some Nonsense on Ice and talking all things hockey, how it pertains to the hobby, and a lot of things that we want to get to here on this edition. We're going to talk some storylines, and we've got one individual, a key rookie, who's got his first cards in the brand new Upper Deck Black Diamond release. We'll talk about that here in just a moment, Matthew Schaefer fans. We also have for you an injury to Connor Hellebuyck. What's it mean? We'll talk about that. Some observations, some milestones to watch, folks. We've already had some big milestones hitting the National Hockey League, and I know as far as the hobby is concerned, milestones often bring attention to players, and they cement players' legacies and maybe just put some of their cards on the radar. So we'll talk about some of the milestones that have been hit here in the 25-26 season and some of the milestones that you could expect to see hit potentially later on in the season as things go. We'll have some Hobby 3 stars coming your way as always. Couple of mailbag questions coming your way later on. I want to get to a value vintage pick. I want to throw that your way each and every week. Talk about an older card that is piquing my interest, maybe worth looking at. And I know everybody has different views of vintage, so I'm going to throw that term around loosely. If it happens to be a card that is post 1979, it can still be used in our value vintage pick category. But again, they're going to range in age, some of the cards that we mention when we get to that. And also some new releases, Black Diamonds out there. What are we noticing from that product? I know I was in a Black Diamond break, did not go well for me, but I saw some really cool cards get pulled, so we'll talk about that. And I'll hit on my value break spot of the week. I've mentioned value break spots in the last couple of episodes. Probably the last time that I mention a value break spot out of Upper Deck Series 1, because those Series 1 breaks, 25, 26, getting to be fewer and fewer, a lot of it getting ripped. And you know what? I think between this episode and the next, I'm going to split this up, try something a little different. I've got a box of Upper Deck Synergy 2425. Bought it when I went out to California not too long ago when I visited my friends at Mojo Break, and just haven't opened it. I don't know if it was just getting busy, maybe a lot of willpower on my end, but I didn't open the box. I've got it right here. We'll knock off few packs today, few packs on the next episode. So some things to look forward to, folks. As we get into some of the storylines from the week, though, Matthew Schaefer, what a start to the season this youngster is having for the New York Islanders, the top pick in the draft. And just looking at Matthew Schaefer and what he's put together, well over a half a point a game. He's a defenseman, so producing well over a half point a game as an 18-year-old. That is the guy that looks like he's going to be a special player. He's delivering on being that number 1 overall pick. And folks, he doesn't turn 19. He's a 2007 birthday, doesn't turn 19 until September 5th. He is an 18-year-old this entire season. He just turned 18 a little over a month before this season started. What he's doing at that position, playing defense in the National Hockey League, and at this age, and playing at the time of this recording, about 23 and a half minutes a night for an Islanders team that's been exciting. This is somebody who bears watching, and there's a reason why his Upper Deck Black Diamond rookie cards, the autos, the non-autos, the relics, whatever it may be, his first Islanders cards to hit the market have been selling at a big price. Just some of the notes that we have written down here as far as Matthew Schaefer is concerned. Lots of sales for his Upper Deck CHL stuff, his Team Canada stuff from the last couple of years. That's been a steady mover, of course. But the Black Diamond rookie, a couple of days back, one recent sale, the rookie out of 349. That's not an auto, anything like that, just a rookie numbered to 349, $170 sale just the other day. And those cards are continuing to move. You had a rookie auto, the Jumbo Relic auto to 99 per Card Ladder. All the sales data I throw your way is from Card Ladder. we had a $2,500 sale on a Matthew Schaefer card. So a lot of the jumbo relics, $110 to $299 is what I saw as far as a range when I was looking a couple of days back at some of the early sales. You knew that the Matthew Schaefer stuff was going to cause that product to move quite a bit, and really soon it would move, and there'd be a lot of interest, especially in the breaks in that Islanders spot. But we're seeing the sales to back it up as far as his cards are concerned. Something else with Matthew Schaefer that's interesting, he was added to the Team Canada Olympic drug testing pool. So what that means doesn't mean he's on Team Canada, but it means that he's an option. He's being looked at potentially for Team Canada. So an 18-year-old, we'll see. He's playing really well. We'll see how that plays out. But he is an option as far as Team Canada goes. He's on the radar, if you will. And just a really special player. And I tell you what, you watch the National Hockey League. We're all fans of the game. If we're here, you're probably a fan of the game in some capacity if you're here. But Matthew Schaefer, one of those guys at a young age, he's overcome a lot, and producing the way he is, the way that you see the way that he engages with the media, with fans, everything like that. This is a guy that is looking like one of those players that's going to be pretty easy to root for. Special player, but seems like a really, really special kid off the ice, and he's also overcome a lot of things. So seems like somebody who's going to be easy to root for, and, well, looks like he's one of the future stars in the National Hockey League. So going to be really exciting to see where his cards go. Going to be really exciting to see where the career of Matthew Schaefer goes. Just getting started and making a lot of noise for the New York Islanders. And mentioning something that hit the news a few days back, not terribly serious, but Connor Hellebuyck. He had an injury, had a little procedure. Doesn't sound like it's going to affect anything as far as Team USA is concerned. Should be less than 2 months as far as that goes. Like I said, wouldn't expect it to affect Team USA. But you look at Team USA in the goaltending department, folks. Connor Hellebuyck, multiple Vezina trophies, looks like a future Hall of Famer. He's still hunting that first Stanley Cup. But Connor Hellebuyck, one of the best goaltenders of this era, no doubt about it. Jake Ottinger, Jeremy Swayman, those were the other two goalies for USA at the Four Nations. But look at what's coming. You've got Spencer Knight having a great season. Dustin Wolf looks like he's going to be a future star in net for the Calgary Flames. Jonathan Quick in a backup role for the Rangers. Future Hall of Famer, if you ask me. Still playing at a high level, and his number is called Team USA goaltending. It's been something to watch over the last couple of decades, and seems to be a real point of strength for USA Hockey is that goaltending position. So just a couple things to keep an eye on. Doesn't look like that's going to affect Connor Hellebuyck as far as Team USA is concerned once we get to Olympic time down the road. Folks, the milestones. Want to touch on some of the milestones that we've had hit this season, some that we have been able to identify as milestones that could be hit down the road. Just for a couple, I know I was in the building when Brad Marchand got to 1,000 points this season. He looks like, again, he's still playing at an elite level, playing over a point a game this season. Mentioned him as one of our hobby 3-stars a couple of weeks back. But Brad Marchand, a future Hall of Famer, again, if you ask me, I think he's a lock, a surefire Hall of Famer at this point, beloved by two fan bases. That was exciting to see him get to 1,000 points. Alex Ovechkin got to 900 goals. Nikita Kucherov got to 1,000 points as well. We had Leon Draisaitl get to 400 goals and counting. He's going to score a lot more. John Tavares got to 500 goals this season. And these are all things to keep an eye on as you're out looking for, as you're thumbing through the boxes at card shows and things like that. These are players who've hit some big milestones, or in the case of a couple I'm about to mention, guys who have some on the way. Steven Stamkos, he is currently, at the time of this recording, 586 goals, 600, not too far off for him. Sidney Crosby did get to 1,700 points, so that milestone happened. Later this season, Sergei Bobrovsky, if he gets to 31 wins this season, that would put him to 6th on the all-time goaltending wins list. Picked up a win late last week that got him into sole possession of 9th on the all-time wins list, broke a tie with Jacques Plante. So he continues to play at an elite level. Others on the way, Jamie Benn sitting at 399 goals at the time of this recording, 400 you'd think coming very soon, and Patrick Kane as well, creeping up on 500. So we're about a month and change into this NHL season. We've had some big milestones hit, and we have some more on the way. As you're out at the card shows, scouring through everything, maybe those are some names to keep an eye on as you're looking through the showcases, as you're thumbing through the boxes, and looking at some of those established players' cards to pick up, guys who have milestones on the way, and guys who are knocking on the door of some of those big milestones. Again, mentioned it in one of our first episodes, but not telling you what to buy, but maybe where to keep an eye. And that's what we do right here. It's Hobby 3 Stars time, folks. Get into the Hobby 3 Stars. We have one guy who's been around a bit, a 29-year-old, and then we have the last two number one draft choice. I should say two of the last three number one draft choices. We've spent a lot of time on number one picks on this show because we talked about Matthew Schaefer already, but we're going to get to the two that went number one in the drafts prior. First, though, Adrian Kempe of the Los Angeles Kings. And this is an interesting one, folks, for a couple of reasons. And why he's on the Hobby 3 Stars this week. This has been a perennial 30-plus goal scorer. He's turned into one of the true snipers in the National Hockey League. Figures to be a big part of Team Sweden at the Olympics when that comes around. But just signed that 8-year contract extension. He's going to be a Los Angeles King for a long time to come. 35-plus goals in 3 of the last 4 years, at least 28 goals, 4 straight years coming in. His Upper Deck Young Guns rookie came from the 17-18 set, and you can still get that card reasonably cheap. I was actually surprised to see how low raw sales have been of that card. You're looking at the highest raw sale I saw recently was about $12. The fact that you can grab a young gun of a perennial 30-goal scorer, a guy who's going to be locked into the Los Angeles Kings for a long time to come, who could have some Olympic success potentially in 2026, and he'll still be right in his prime when the 2030 Olympics come around. Adrian Kempe is a guy that is incredibly intriguing to me from the hobby and the hockey card perspective, but also in that he's just turned into one of the great goal scorers in the NHL. Adrian Kempe is leading off our Hobby 3 Stars this week. Macklin Celebrini. We've spent a lot of time talking about him already in the brief, long and storied history of Nonsense on Ice. Here's one, folks, and this figure, this stat made the rounds. 30 points in the first 20 games this season. What's the significance there? Only the 4th teenager in NHL history to register 30 points in the first 20 games of a season. The other 3 to do it, you might have heard of them. Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Sidney Crosby. Add Macklin Celebrini to that list. Those are the only 4 players in the history of the National Hockey League to reach 30 points in the first 20 games of a season. Macklin Celebrini card sales, well, they've been moving. And those cards, those rookie cards from 24-25 have been hot. 24-25 Young Gun, the PSA 10, recent sales ranging from $861 to $979 from what I saw on Card Ladder. As far as the population goes of that card, if you're wondering, and I think that's a population that's not really set yet. I would imagine there are a lot of those probably still being pulled. There's a lot of that product probably still getting ripped out there. And there are a lot of those probably sitting raw that people just haven't gotten around to grading yet. There are probably a lot of those sitting at the grading companies as we speak, especially with how well Celebrini has played to start the year. 1,360 is what I saw as of a couple of days back on the PSA Pop report for the Macklin Celebrini Young Gun. Now, there are some variants to that card you can get that are exciting, but flagship Young Gun sales about $861 to $979. What I saw, that was the range I saw per Card Ladder as far as the PSA 10 is concerned. And he was the number one pick in 24, the number one pick in 23. Connor Bedard. He's having a great start to the season. The Blackhawks look like they might be turning a corner this season. Connor Bedard, Young Guns, selling a little bit below what the Celebrini ones are. The PSA 10 Young Gun sales, recent ranges, 649 to 749 was what I saw. Pretty good range there. Like I said, about 649 to 749. A lot of the sales in that range. The PSA 10 pop count on the Bedard, over 7,000, actually over 7,500 on that one. So definitely more than the Celebrini, which is why I feel like a lot of the Celebrini Young Guns either just haven't been sent off to PSA yet. They're probably still getting pulled, or as I mentioned, a lot of those probably still at PSA. They're probably going to be getting graded a lot because of the start to the season he's had. But Macklin Celebrini, Connor Bedard, certainly guys to keep an eye on, not only now, not only this week, not only this month, but again, those are guys we're going to be keeping our eyes on for a decade plus into the future. No question about that. I had a mailbag question come in here on the Ben Kindel market. This one from Zach on Twitter. Ben Kindel, rookie for the Pittsburgh Penguins, breaking in as a teenager, logging some big minutes this season for a Pittsburgh team that has exceeded expectations probably here at the start of the year. Has a lot of Upper Deck CHL stuff, Team Canada stuff, some good sales on that, but I would imagine as we move along this year, as he starts to get cards in a Penguins uniform, he is going to be a chase, I would imagine. No question about that. When you come in and you become a regular as a teenager and you have some good performances, he's been in the lineup, he's been consistent. He's been exciting to see really develop into a key part of this Pittsburgh group. That's going to be somebody to keep an eye on in the hobby, no doubt about that. And if you're just following the sport, that's going to be potentially a name to know as the time goes by. Folks, I want to get to a value vintage pick. I want to make this a regular part of the show because I do really love the history of not just the National Hockey League, but the sport of hockey. I think there are a lot of really cool cards going back. This week, the value vintage pick, 80-81 O-Pee-Chee, the Mark Messier rookie card. Mark Messier, if you ask me, I would place him the sixth best player in the history of the sport. In no particular order, I'm looking at a top one. Gretzky, number one. Bobby Orr, Gordie Howe, Mario Lemieux. That's your next of the top four. And then I'm putting Sidney Crosby at number 5. Mark Messier, I would say, as far as I'm concerned, is the sixth best player in the history of the sport. 5 Stanley Cups, 4 in Edmonton. He had the one with, he had with the Oilers, he had 84, 85, he had 87, 88, he had 90, and then with the Rangers. So 5 in Edmonton, 6 total, the one in New York in 94. Mark Messier, I would say, like I said, the sixth best player of all time. You can get a PSA 7, not a PSA 10. That gets real expensive, but a PSA 7, a nice looking copy of his 80-81 O-Pee-Chee rookie card. Under $200. I think it's a piece of history when you look at a card like that. But you can get a really nice looking copy of it at a pretty fair and reasonable price. And you can find some good looking 5s and 6s and get even lower than that and have a really nice card of an all-time great, a rookie card of an all-time great from 80-81 O-Pee-Chee. I think that's one that could be a really nice one for a lot of folks to own. I do have an SGC 6 and an SGC 4 of that particular card. So, and the 4 is one of those that I think was graded pretty harshly because while it is a little off-centered, didn't think it would get a 4, but hey, we probably all think that about our cards. We probably all think they should grade a little higher than they do, but I think that's a fun card to own and one that always surprises me that it's so readily available and accessible at a pretty manageable price. So that's the value vintage pick this week, the Mark Messier rookie card. Value break spot, like I said, probably the last time I choose something out of Series 1, Upper Deck 25, 26, but if there are breaks still out there, a team that has been available at a discount oftentimes is the Pittsburgh Penguins. I know I picked them up not too long ago at a bare minimum type of price. I was actually surprised how low I got the Penguins in a half case. They do have one young gun, Ville Koivunen. He is a rookie in the product. Out on injured reserve right now, but he's 22 years old, and there is some offensive upside there. You also have some built-in other things that you can get. Insert cards of Crosby potentially. Malkin is in there as a base card, so maybe parallels of Malkin. But you have Crosby and Malkin cards that you can get. And when you get to parallels of those, there's some potential there beyond just the young gun, which is a forward who's put up some decent numbers in the American Hockey League that is getting an opportunity in the NHL. Again, injured right now at the time of this recording, but I think that's a great value break spot, one that I grabbed in a recent break. And if they're still out there, maybe that's one that you look at. But starting next week, I think we're going to take a look at Black Diamond, what might be a good break spot to find in that product. Black Diamond's been good. I watched a half case break. I had the Panthers in a half case break. That's usually how I sample a lot of new hockey products, as I jump in and grab the Panthers in breaks. Didn't go well for me, but I saw some really cool stuff get pulled. In a half case, I did see a Z Buyum get pulled. I saw a couple Artyom Levshinovs get pulled. Some of the big rookies were getting hit. There was a Matthew Schaefer that came out of that half case. So a lot of the people who spent big and went after some of the big teams with the big rookies probably left that feeling like they got a little bit of value out of it. So it was a cool product. As always, the patches are super nice. And really the first high-end product to hit the market. So some cool stuff there out of Black Diamond. And I think the breaks are entertaining to watch. Like I said, you get a lot of cool stuff, and you're seeing the chase for the Matthew Schaefer rookie cards in full force. Something different, folks. Let's rip 4 packs of Synergy. We'll do the other 4 packs on next week's episode. Upper Deck Synergy 24-25. Bought this box when I visited my friends at Mojo Break not too long ago. You get 3 cards in each pack. We're looking for Celebrini. We've got, looking for a lot from a good rookie class. We've got Olen Zellweger first. That is not numbered. We've got Alex Del Vecchio, a Hall of Famer from the Red Wings, and an Alex Ovechkin number 1 hits insert. Again, it's a quick rip. You're only getting 3 cards a pack. We'll do 4 packs this week, 4 packs next week. Shakir Makamadullin. We got it's an acetate card. Colorways, Sergei Bobrovsky on the colorways, and the back card in the pack is a new game, Matt Boldy. And nothing numbered out of that. 2 packs left, folks. Hopefully you can bring us some luck. Kyle Connor, top card of the pack. We have Zach Bolduc, now a Montreal Canadian, but a blue in that. And we've got a synergistic duos, Jack St. Ivany and Evgeny Malkin. 1 more pack. We'll do the other 4 on next week's edition of Nonsense on Ice. Leon Draisaitl on the front. We have we got a numbered card. It is another Zach Bolduc. It's a parallel. Pink there out of $5.99. We got another numbered card here. Synergistic duos, Nick Suzuki and Rocket Richard on the Synergistic duos insert, numbered to $199. So we'll hit the other 4 packs next week on Nonsense on Ice. Off to a pretty decent start there. Fun product. I like Synergy. Oddly enough, this is my second box of 24-25 Synergy. The first box I had, I also opened in Nashville during a road trip. So I guess it's a theme, folks. Big thanks to all of you for tuning in here on Nonsense on Ice. You can find us wherever you find your podcast. So a thanks to all of you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment at Doug Plagens on the Twitter X platform. Also at Doug Plagens on Instagram. Thanks to our friends at Upper Deck as well, producing great products here, and great to have them aboard. And again, big thanks to Upper Deck and everything they do for the hobby and the hockey card hobby especially. And big thanks to Rebecca on the other side for a job well done on production once again. Folks, this has been Nonsense on Ice. We invite you back next time. Thanks again for being with us.